Tomorrow morning I'll be off to the beach to try and catch some big tailor. Now, the family love the fish cakes I make, so I've more or less been ordered to go and catch a few big tailor and get my recipe together and make some fish cakes. Now we're into the winter and it's starting to get colder. The family just love them. So it's been a few years just adding different ingredients to get them right, but my wife, her friends, and I know the kids love them. So that's the intention, first thing in the morning, to get out there before daybreak, just as it's getting light perhaps, and fish into the morning and hopefully score a couple of nice tailor. Anyway, we'll see you then. Good morning. Well, I'm out early this morning. I'm hoping to get a big tailor. I haven't chased or targeted tailor for a long time, but I thought I'd get out this morning. We're heading for the full moon in about 3 or 4 days time, so I'm hoping there's some big lads kicking around. So I've got a big bait out at the moment. It's pretty much a waiting game. It's an hour and a half before sunrise, so I'm just waiting for that rod to go off. I've had a bite. I'm not out very far actually. I'm only out about 20 metres. Feels like a small tailor. A small salmon right in close. Now my second rod I've got out, I've got a beach worm. Yes, and I'm now hooked up. Oh, it's a bream. Put another worm on. Yes, on again. Feels like a whiting. All brim about the same size, thank you. You like those worms? It's getting light. Here we go again. Another bream. Okay, now I've got some action on my big rod. Could it be a tailor? It's a tailor! Woo! Woo! Oh, he's a nice tailor too. Boy, gee. He's jumping just like a salmon. Look at that. He's hooked pretty well. He's on the worm. There we go, bream on that rod. I've got something on this one from Pilchard. Oh, it's a big salmon. The snodger. Woo! Oh. A little ripper. So the last two casts, I got a big Tailor that was around 55 to 60 centimeters. Then I got this snodger of a salmon. They've both been giving me a great fight. So sun hasn't risen as yet. It's probably a little bit off rising at this stage. But there's some nice shallow water out here coming to some deep water here, which is pretty ideal. This one's taken off again. Look at the mess it's made on my spool. Might have to hand line him in and sort this mess out later. It took off with a vengeance. Geez, I haven't hand lined a fish off the beach for a long time. Had my drag too loose. Just got to be careful here. If he takes off, I don't want him to burn a hole in my fingers. Come on. Another big tailor, I think. A ripper. They're getting bigger. Wow. You can see why he took off like he did. Whoa! Now there's 38, 48, 58, 960. It's about 65 centimetres. There we go. So within a matter of 10 minutes I've got a big tailor, a salmon, then a tailor that took off, my drag was too loose, and my alby's overrun and caused a big knot, so I had to hand line him in. Still the sun hasn't risen. I've caught a bream, then I caught a big tailor, then a salmon, big salmon, then another tailor. And yeah, I've just thrown a worm out, see if I can catch another bream. Yeah, they're pretty exciting. It's great when it's fishing like this. Okay, the sun's up. I've cut all the tangled line off the other rod. I've got it back out. I've now been able to put my worm back out again after a bit of a delay. But hey, these things happen. At least I'm still here. I'm still fishing. I'll just show you the rig I've got for the tailor. I've got three, I think they're 4.0, you use 4.0, 5.0 gang hooks. I've got wire trace which I've looped through there and crimped. You can buy those little crimps. Bend it over, then squeeze it with some crimping pliers or just normal pliers that have the, I use my worming pliers which are, they've got all sorts of funny little things on them. So that's about, well, you can make it about that long, I suppose. What's that, 6 inches or so? Do the same at the other end, just tie the line on there. Got a trace up to a swivel, then a sliding sinker, the short drop on it, to a star sinker, then another swivel just to take the kinks out of the line. That swivel's probably a little bit too big. Smaller one's better, but I've run out of smaller ones at the moment. Now the reason I use a wire trace on the gang hooks is you're running the risk of a big tailor swallowing the lot, the 3 gang hooks, and then just biting your mono or just biting your line off. A trace, I learned a long time ago that even using a short trace, they were swallowing the lot and biting me off. Hence I now use quite like 6 inches plus the 3 gang hooks should be enough. You can make it longer if you like. That's the story behind it. You live and learn. Although sometimes you don't learn by setting the drag too loose, but we can all learn a lesson by that. Having your drag too loose, you get an overrun, doesn't matter what sort of reel it is. A fish taking off rapidly can get that spool spinning, and then the line just peels off and then it can get knotted up. But you can all learn a lesson from that, including me, probably more importantly me. So there's a good haul of fish prior to sunrise. That yellow rule there is 38 centimetres long. That gives you an indication of these fish. I should have washed them, I suppose, which I will do in a minute. Pretty happy though. good morning. I think I'll go shortly. Otherwise I've got to lug them all back, and that's going to be enough to leg back up the hill. One of my rods was still out with pilchard on it, and look what happened. Trevally! Oh, there you go. How big's this lad? 34. Thanks for watching. If you are enjoying this content, like, subscribe and share. Be sure to keep your eyes open for a video on how I make my Tailor fish cakes, coming shortly.